The skies cleared and the sun burned the fog away quickly in the morning. Ashta woke up with a smile on her face every morning. She lay in bed and watched the sun rise up out of the water to fill the skies with warm oranges and bright pinks. The sea was like a misshapen mirror and reflected the colors on its own face. With spring came another change. The cubs were allowed outside. Only the late middles and the enders were allowed outside of the cub nursery. As they passed under the hanging great sword, Ashta shivered, goosebumps breaking out across her skin. She watched the other girls, but no one else reacted to the sword as she did. The girls still talked, laughed, bumped into each other as if nothing strange had happened, as if there wasn't a strange flutter across their mind that passed as soon as they walked out of the sword's reach. Rice led the cubs through a maze of hallways until they entered an arena similar to the one Ashta had her test in. This time, there were no roaring crowds. It was completely empty, except for the cubs. "All right, everyone, pair up." Trice instantly latched onto Ashta's arm. Ashta frowned, looking over to Ciri. But Ciri had paired up with one of her table mates. "The task today is simple. You and your partner must climb out of the ring and grab the flag. First pair who hands me the flag gets first pick for horses." Ashta's ears perked. Horses? She did not think the Tripsians would have horses as they were expensive to keep. But then, their charges were wealthy people of Tripsian society. Of course the cubs would need to know how to ride. Ashta looked over the pit, its lip that kept the lions in, then the rows of stands that lined around the circular pit, ending with 8 turrets at the very top. The turrets were for protecting citizens from the lion within, as well as the men from the desert outside. "Begin!" Groups ran for the wall and started throwing each other up. Except each fell just short to reach the lip of the ring. It slanted out slightly, making it harder to grab onto. There was no way that just 2 people would be able to make it over the edge. Ashta thought as she eyed the wall. "I think we may need an alliance," she commented. Trice nodded, considering the other pairs. Not everyone was on the wall. Ciri and her partner had not made a move yet, stuck in conversation. Ashta nodded to them, and Trice smiled before leading the way over. The other 2 watched as Ashta and Trice approached, their eyes narrowed and arms folded. "There's no way that just 2 people can make it over the edge," Trice stated. The other girl grunted while Ciri looked them over. "If we had 2 people, one standing on the shoulders of the other, a third person would be able to climb up and get over," said Ciri. Trice cocked her head and narrowed her eyes. Who would climb up first? The girls all stared at each other when a yell of triumph rang through the air. Another group had partnered together and already had someone pulling herself up. "It doesn't matter as long as they move quick," Ciri answered. "Ula will be on the bottom." Ashta looked at Trice, then jerked her chin up. The little minx smirked. "Darkling will climb up for us. I'll stand on Ula's hands." The butch girl, Ula, quickly stood before the wall. She held out her hands, which Trice jumped into. Ula boosted her up and was soon balanced on Ula's hands. "You're up," and then with a smirk, Ciri glanced at Ashta. "Darkling?" Her tone heavy with sarcasm. Ashta bared her teeth. Shaking her head, Ashta turned away, analyzing the 2 girls quickly. She burst forward, running at full tilt. Ula's eyes widened a bit before Ashta jumped up. She pushed off the inside of Ula's shoulder, and Ula let out a grunt. It gave Ashta enough push to jump and land with her other foot on Trice's shoulder. She already had her hands connected above her head. Ashta was able to push off her shoulder onto her hands before giving one final leap into the air above Trice's head. Ashta felt the world slow down. She saw every grain of sand, every loose rock, the crack in the lip to the right of her. She stretched her arms up. When the ledge came in reach, she wedged one hand into the crack. With the remaining momentum, she pulled herself up to her elbows and swung her knees up. Once her legs were underneath her, Ashta stood up in one fluid motion. Glancing back, she could see more than a few mouths hanging open.